Hi guys, Hans Chamberlain here, and today we get to do an activity that uses some of these aesthetic principles we talked about in the aesthetic principles video. I'm going to move a little quick for the sake of time. You can read those over here on the side if you want to remember what they are, but we're going to jump in. I have a picture that my family took during my daughter's softball game, and it's a pretty cool picture, has some action in it. A little fuzzy, but doesn't matter. We're just going to mess with it a little bit and think about it in an artistic way. I also said, okay, I want to use this in a piece, and then I looked up some baseball quotes. I figured it might be cool to have a quote in there and see if I can find one that matches. And I found this quote pretty quickly. Baseball is more than a game. It's like life played out on a field. Juliana Hatfield. Thought that they match pretty well. So we're going to use those two things to create a piece. Now we're going to be using Google Drawing, so you have to have a Google Drive account to make this work. So let me go over here to Google Chrome, and I'm in my Drive account, and I'm going to create a new document. So press New, and then you have to go over where it says More, and there you should find Google Drawings. Alright, now here we are, we have our project, and we have all these squares here. The squares just show you that there's no objects there. If you printed this, you wouldn't see the squares. There's nothing there. So before we add some things, let's go ahead and first change the size. Scroll all the way down and page setup. And I want this to fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, but I want it to be landscape. So I want it to be 11 by 8.5. Okay, and then it should print out nicely on a standard piece of printer paper. So, blank project, let's go ahead and drag this softball picture into it. Now Google is going to create it as an editable image in their program. Okay, that looks awesome, but little sideways. So let me right click it and rotate. And now I'm going to resize it. Always resize using the corners or else you're going to squish your picture. And I don't want to squish my daughter. So let's see here. I think that size will work out nicely. Now I don't want to use this whole picture. I want to just kind of use the center where the action is. So I'm going to crop this picture and drag this side in a little bit. And I'll drag this side in as well. Yeah, I want to use that. So I'm going to press return. Cool, that looks nice. Now I'm going to bring this to right in the middle. It gives you a, Google gives you a red line to help you with that. Now here's where things get fun. So I'm going to take this, copy it, and paste it. So I have two of them. Repetition. You can use edit to copy and paste. I find it a lot easier to use the shortcuts. So that's what I'm going to use. Copy, paste. And I'm using the arrows on my keyboard. I find it pretty easy. All the way to where that foot ends. And let me copy, paste again. All the way to where the foot ends. You guessed it, to where the foot ends. Alright. It's going off the project a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. To about where the glove ends. Yeah, I think that'll work okay. Copy, paste. Now you don't have to use a picture that you took. You could use any picture. Maybe use a flower or a picture of your dream car. Now I've got all of these pictures. Now notice this one in the middle is a little squished because these are all layered on top of each other. Now let's talk about attention. I want the attention to be on the center. So since we have all these layers, let's change the order. We're going to change the position. I'm going to take this middle one, right click, and I'm going to change the order. I want this one, I'm going to bring it to the very front. Now I see this, which is great. Now this one's getting squished. I want to send this one behind this one. I want it to go front and then next and then next and next, like a little cascade. So let's send this one backward. And then let's send this one to the very back. Send to back. Same thing on the other side. Let's get this one send backward, and then this one finally sent to the back. Cool. Now I have this cool little cascade. Now, here's where things get fun. I could highlight all of these, go up to Format Options, and you can do a lot of different things. You can go over here to Adjustments, and you can change the transparency so that you start to see some of these layers pop out. That looks pretty cool. You could change the brightness. You could really brighten all of these pictures. That's very bright. But that's kind of cool. Looks a little cartoony. You could darken them. Maybe you want to have the quote on top. I'm going to bring it back right to the middle, 0%. You can also change the contrast. That's one of our words where the darks are really dark and the lights are really light. So here's some increased contrast. Here's some decreased contrast. It depends on what you're looking for. For right now, I'm going to leave that one here in the middle. Now, I'm going to do something a little interesting here. I want this middle one to kind of be the focal point. So I'm going to take this middle object and I'm going to brighten it just a little tiny bit, maybe up 5% or so. Okay. Now I want all of the others to start to get darker. So let's take this one and let's take it down to -20% here. So 20% darker, 20% more darker. Let's make this at 40%. And then this one, you guessed it, 60%. And let's do the exact same thing on the other side. I think this is going to look pretty cool. And the numbers help. And finally, that's 60 or -60%. Awesome. Now, here's where it's really fun. I could highlight all of these, and we can recolor what these look like. I can make it all red. That looks awesome, or orange. I kind of want to work with maybe, oh, that kind of reverses. That's kind of cool. It's like the negative reversal, or we could do a grayscale like this. I think that's kind of cool. I'm going to leave it like this. Now, I need to get this quote in here. So I'm going to create a shape. Now let's just make it a... You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to do the text first. Okay, text box, that's that T. And I want the text to be right here, kind of in the middle. And I want to type in that quote. And if I remember correctly, baseball is not just a game. Oops. It's like life played on a field. And that was by Juliana Hatfield. Cool. And then I want to make sure that we kind of center this. Oops. So these three dots are going to be your friend here. So press More, and I'm going to align them in the center. And I have kind of a little space in there I'm not looking for. There we go. Let me go back to center. And let's change the size and the fonts. Let's change this and make it a little bigger. That's a lot bigger. Let's make it a little smaller right there. Awesome. And then take this and since it's a quote, I want to make it look like somebody is writing it. I think that looks cool. All right, and let's just now go back up and see. Okay, now that size works a little better. I'm going to change the name and make the name just a little smaller here, because it's the quote that I'm looking for. Awesome, so that looks cool, but I think since this is all dark and I want this quote to kind of pop, let's make that shape now. And let's go here like this. Awesome, and let's change it so that it's black. And then I'm going to send this to the back. And now I should have my text box. Now notice I can't see the letters. That's because I need to have some contrast here. I need to change the color of the text. Let's change that to white. Oop, I should probably highlight the text first. There it is. And let's change that to white. Aha! Now that pops. So this is what we're left with. We took a simple quote and a picture that we took at a baseball game, and we created a little piece that expresses something.